Norah O'Donnell was at the top of her game, balancing a high-powered career, raising a family, and managing the everyday chaos of life. She had spent years building a name for herself in journalism, covering major stories, interviewing world leaders, and reporting on critical events with unwavering professionalism. Her days were filled with deadlines, breaking news, and the constant juggle of responsibilities that came with being a wife, a mother, and a journalist. She thrived in the fast-paced world of media, where every second counted and every decision mattered. But one ordinary afternoon in 2016, everything changed with a single phone call. She was in a department store, casually browsing through sheets and towels, when her phone buzzed. It was her doctor. She answered without much thought, expecting it to be routine, but the words that followed hit her like a shockwave. Melanoma, skin cancer. The diagnosis was something she had never considered, something that had never crossed her mind as a real possibility. After all, she felt healthy, she looked healthy, but beneath the surface, something dangerous had been growing. The news was serious. Surgery was needed immediately. Within days, doctors removed a 3-inch piece of skin from her back. It was a brutal wake-up call, one that left her shaken. The cancer hadn't spread yet, which was a relief, but the experience left a mark far deeper than the scar on her back. It was a stark reminder of how quickly life could take an unexpected turn. One moment, everything seemed normal, and the next, she was confronting her own mortality. From that day forward, Norah's life was never the same. Regular checkups became part of her routine, constant biopsies a new reality. Every doctor's visit came with the lingering fear of what if? What if they found something else? What if the cancer returned? The uncertainty was overwhelming at times, but instead of letting fear consume her, she decided to take control. She turned her experience into something more, something powerful. She became an advocate, using her platform to spread awareness about the dangers of skin cancer and the importance of early detection. But Norah's journey with skin cancer started long before that fateful phone call. Growing up in San Antonio, Texas, she had spent countless hours outside under the scorching sun. Like most teenagers, she wanted to look tan. Back then, people didn't think much about sunscreen or the risks of prolonged sun exposure. It was just part of life. Summer days spent at the pool, afternoons playing outside, and weekends at the beach, all without a second thought about the long-term consequences. Her parents, especially her father, who was a doctor, always emphasized health and wellness, but even in a household where medicine was a central part of life, skin cancer wasn't something they discussed often. There was an awareness of staying active, eating well, and taking care of the body, but the dangers of the sun weren't a major concern. As a child, Norah's family moved frequently due to her father's military career. They lived in South Korea for a couple of years, where she spent a lot of time outdoors, exploring and playing. It was there that she landed her first job recording English lessons for Korean students. Speaking into a camera for the first time was an experience that would unknowingly shape her future. When she returned to Texas, she attended Douglas MacArthur High School, where she was known for her strong work ethic and love of learning. She was always curious, always asking questions, traits that would later serve her well in journalism. But like most teenagers, long-term health wasn't something she thought much about. Tanning was a trend, and she and her friends spent hours outside soaking up the sun without considering the risks. It wasn't until college at Georgetown University that she started thinking more seriously about wellness. However, the demands of school, internships, and life in Washington, D.C. often made it difficult to prioritize routine checkups. When she began her career in journalism, the schedule became even more intense. Long hours, constant travel, and breaking news left little time for personal health. Looking back, she regrets not making it a priority. Had she been more diligent, maybe she would have caught it earlier. Maybe she wouldn't have had to endure that life-changing moment in the department store. After her melanoma diagnosis, everything shifted. Suddenly, she became hyper-aware of the little things, wearing sunscreen every day, reapplying it religiously, making sure her children did the same. The scar on her back was more than just a physical reminder. It was a symbol of survival, a lesson learned the hard way. She realized that so many people, like her, ignored routine checkups simply because they felt fine. And that was the problem. Cancer doesn't always come with warning signs. That's why she started speaking out, sharing her story. Wasn't easy, but if it helped even one person catch something early, it was worth it. She began using her voice to encourage people to take their health seriously, to see their doctors, to get their skin checked regularly. She educated herself on the importance of sun protection and made it her mission to spread that knowledge. Her experience also changed the way she approached her work. As a journalist, she had spent years telling other people's stories, but now she was part of one. She knew the power of storytelling, and she used it to shed light on a health issue that often went unnoticed. She interviewed doctors, experts, and survivors, bringing attention to the fact that skin cancer is one of the most common but also one of the most preventable cancers. Norah's journey with melanoma wasn't just a personal battle, it became a call to action. She learned to slow down, to prioritize her health, and to appreciate the small moments. It was no longer about just looking good, it was about staying alive. Every day she reminded herself and others that life can change in an instant, but taking care of yourself can make all the difference. And that's a message she continues to share, one that she hopes will inspire people to pay attention before it's too late. Norah O'Donnell learned a powerful lesson from her melanoma diagnosis. Cancer doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter if you have fair skin, dark skin, or if you rarely spend time in the sun. Anyone can develop melanoma. It doesn't pick favorites. This realization weighed on her heavily, making her even more grateful that her doctor caught it early. She often thinks about how different her story might have been if she had ignored that appointment, if she had waited just a little longer. That thought alone is enough to keep her vigilant. Over the years, she has become even more cautious. Sunscreen is no longer an afterthought, it's a necessity. She keeps bottles of it by the front door, in her car, and in her purse. It has become second nature to apply it before stepping outside, and her children have learned the same habit. She drills one rule into them constantly: no pink faces, no sunburns. She wants them to grow up understanding the importance of protecting their skin, something she wishes she had done when she was younger. But her commitment to health doesn't stop with skin cancer prevention. The experience opened her eyes to the importance of preventive health care as a whole. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she saw firsthand how many people delayed doctor visits, either out of fear or due to busy schedules. Routine checkups were postponed, health concerns were pushed aside, and the consequences were often severe. She understood the struggle. She had been guilty of it herself in the past. As a journalist and a mother, she had always put work and family first, often neglecting her own health, but she now realizes that waiting can lead to bigger problems. A small concern today can turn into something much worse tomorrow. Her personal battle with melanoma also changed how she approached journalism. She has always been a strong, compassionate reporter, but after facing her own health scare, she gained a deeper level of empathy. She understands the fear that comes with receiving difficult news from a doctor. She knows what it feels like to sit in a waiting room, dreading the results of a test. And she understands how overwhelming it can be to suddenly have to navigate a medical crisis. This perspective has made her reporting even more impactful. When she covers health stories, she does so with a new level of understanding and urgency. For Norah, the biggest takeaway from her experience is simple: don't wait. Don't wait to go to the doctor until something feels wrong. Don't wait to start wearing sunscreen. Don't wait to take your health seriously. She hopes that by sharing her story, she can encourage others to take action before it's too late. Even with all the awareness she has raised, she still faces moments of fear. Every few months, when it's time for her skin check, she feels a wave of anxiety. What if they find something new? What if this time it's worse? But she goes anyway. She understands that catching it early is her best defense. Long before she became a prominent voice in skin cancer awareness, before she was a nationally recognized journalist, Norah was just a young woman with big dreams. Her journey into the world of journalism began in Texas, where she attended Douglas MacArthur High School. She had always been an inquisitive student, eager to ask questions and dive deep into stories. After high school, she packed her bags and moved to Washington, D.C. to attend Georgetown University. It was an entirely new world, fast-paced, full of opportunities and filled with challenges. At Georgetown, she studied philosophy, a subject that encouraged her to ask even bigger questions and think critically about the world around her. But journalism was always in the back of her mind. She loved storytelling, she loved uncovering the truth, and she knew she wanted to make an impact. Even while she was a student, she sought out real-world experience. She began working as a staff writer for Roll Call, covering Congress and getting an inside look at the political world. It was her first taste of reporting on a national level, and she quickly realized that being a journalist was about more than just writing. It was about asking the tough questions, digging for the truth, and holding those in power accountable. After earning her degree in 1995, she wasn't done yet. She returned to Georgetown and earned a master's degree in liberal studies in 2003, further expanding her knowledge and sharpening her critical thinking skills. But by then, her career was already taking off. She landed a job at NBC News, where she would spend the next 12 years growing, learning, and covering some of the most significant stories in the country. At NBC, she took on multiple roles, proving herself as a versatile and talented journalist. She worked as a White House correspondent, traveling with presidents and covering major political events. She became a familiar face on The Today Show and NBC Nightly News, delivering in-depth reports that helped viewers understand complex issues. She even filled in as a guest host on Hardball with Chris Matthews, where she held her own in heated political discussions. The workload was intense and the pressure was high, but she thrived in the fast-paced environment. Whether she was reporting live from the White House lawn or breaking down a major policy change in a studio, she brought the same level of dedication and clarity to every story. In 2011, CBS News came calling. Recognizing her talent, they offered her the role of chief White House correspondent. It was a major step, but she was ready. Over the next few years, she covered some of the most important political and international events, earning the trust of viewers and colleagues alike. Her sharp, insightful reporting stood out, and her career continued to rise. By 2012, she had moved into an even bigger role, becoming a co-anchor on CBS This Morning. The job required early mornings, long hours, and an intense commitment to delivering the news, but she embraced it fully. She interviewed world leaders, celebrities, and everyday people with powerful stories to share. Through it all, she remained focused on what mattered most, telling the truth in a way that people could understand. Her time at CBS This Morning was filled with unforgettable moments. She covered elections, natural disasters, and breaking news events that shaped the world, but she also faced personal challenges along the way. In 2019, while on a spring break trip with her family, she felt a sharp pain in her side. At first, she dismissed it, assuming it was something minor. But after 5 days of persistent pain, she finally went to the hospital. The diagnosis? Appendicitis. Even then, she turned the experience into a learning moment, sharing her story publicly and encouraging others to listen to their bodies and seek medical attention when something doesn't feel right. That same year, she reached another career milestone. She was named anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News, making history as only the third woman to hold the position. It was a tremendous achievement, the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and relentless pursuit of the truth. She embraced the responsibility with pride, knowing that she was now in a position to inform millions of Americans every night. Throughout her career, Norah O'Donnell has covered some of the most significant moments in modern history. She has held powerful people accountable, delivered groundbreaking reports, and earned the respect of her peers and viewers alike. But her experience with melanoma added a new layer to her work. It made her an advocate, a voice for preventive health care, and a reminder that no one is immune to life's unexpected challenges. Today, she continues to use her platform to raise awareness about skin cancer and the importance of early detection. She speaks openly about her journey, hoping that her story will inspire others to take their health seriously. She knows that life is unpredictable, but she also knows that the choices we make today can shape our future. And for Norah, the message remains the same. Don't wait. Norah O'Donnell approached every challenge in her career with the same determination that had driven her from the very beginning. The pressure of anchoring CBS Evening News was immense, but she tackled it with relentless hard work, a commitment to the truth, and an unwavering focus on getting the story right. Her years in the anchor chair were marked by some of the most significant news events of the era. She guided viewers through the COVID-19 pandemic, offering clear, fact-based reporting during a time of uncertainty. She covered the contentious 2020 presidential election, navigating the deep political divisions in the country with a steady and reassuring voice. From Supreme Court decisions to international conflicts, she was there, helping Americans make sense of a rapidly changing world. One of the defining moments of her career came in 2024 when she traveled to the Vatican to interview Pope Francis. It was an extraordinary opportunity, one that required careful preparation and a deep understanding of the issues at hand. The conversation touched on profound topics: faith, global conflicts, social justice, and the challenges facing the Catholic Church. Norah's ability to ask tough yet respectful questions made the interview stand out, earning praise from audiences and fellow journalists alike. Her time at CBS Evening News had been filled with milestone moments, but she sensed that change was on the horizon. In mid-2024, Norah made a major announcement. She would be stepping down as anchor of CBS Evening News after the 2024 presidential election. The decision was not made lightly. She had spent years at the helm of one of America's most watched newscasts, but she was ready for something different. She wanted to take on a new role as a senior correspondent, focusing on in-depth investigative reports and special projects, stories that required time, care, and a deeper level of reporting. It was a bittersweet decision, but she knew it was the right one. Her last scheduled broadcast was set for January 24, 2025, but due to coverage of the Farmers Insurance Open, the date was moved up by a day. Saying goodbye was emotional. It marked the end of an era, but Norah left knowing she had made her mark on the industry. She had built a career based on integrity, accuracy, and a deep respect for the truth. Yet through all the long days, breaking news cycles, and high-pressure moments, Norah never lost sight of what truly mattered: her family. Behind the scenes, away from the cameras and studios, her personal life played a crucial role in shaping who she was. She had a strong support system, and at the heart of it was her husband, Tracy. Their love story began in an unlikely place: a cafeteria. Line at Georgetown University. It was Norah's first week on campus, and Jeff, noticing her, struck up a conversation. His icebreaker, a comment about a sweatshirt his roommate was wearing. It was a small, almost forgettable moment, but it led to something much bigger. For Jeff, it was love at first sight. Norah, always thoughtful and deliberate, took a little longer to come around, but soon they became inseparable. Their relationship grew over the years, built on shared ambitions, mutual respect, and a deep love for each other. After years of dating, they tied the knot in 2001 at Georgetown's Dahlgren Chapel, a place that held special meaning for them. Both. Washington, D.C. became the backdrop of their life together. They built a home, a family, and successful careers, always supporting each other along the way. Jeff, a talented chef and entrepreneur, went on to open several popular restaurants in the D.C. area, while Norah continued to rise in the world of journalism. Despite their demanding schedules, they made time for the things that mattered: family dinners, school events, and quiet moments away from the public eye. Together, they raised 3 children, and parenthood became one of the most important roles in Norah's life. She wanted her kids to grow up knowing the value of hard work, resilience, and kindness. She also wanted to teach them the lessons she had learned the hard way, about taking care of their health, about being proactive rather than reactive, and about finding balance in a world that often demands too much. As she transitioned into her new role as a senior correspondent, she looked forward to spending more time with her family while still pursuing the work she loved. She knew that journalism wasn't just a job for her, it was a calling. She had spent decades telling stories that mattered, giving a voice to those who needed to be heard, and holding power to account. That wouldn't change. Her journey, from a young girl in Texas with big dreams to one of the most respected journalists in the country, was something she never could have imagined when she first stepped onto the Georgetown campus. She had faced challenges, moments of doubt, and career shifts, but through it all, she remained committed to the belief that journalism had the power to make a difference. Even as she stepped away from the anchor desk, she knew her work wasn't finished. There were still stories to tell, injustices to uncover, and voices to amplify. The next chapter of her career might look different, but her mission remained the same: to inform, to inspire, and to never stop searching for the truth. Norah O'Donnell's journey in journalism was one of relentless determination, integrity, and a commitment to telling stories that mattered. But alongside her rising career, there was another passion that played a central role in her life: her husband, Tracy's love for food. While Norah was making a name for herself as a reporter, Jeff was carving out his own path in the culinary world. After graduating from Georgetown, he pursued his dream at the Culinary Institute of America, refining his skills and preparing for what would become a successful career as a restaurateur. By the time they got married in 2001, Jeff had already opened his first restaurant, Chef Jeff's, which quickly became a beloved spot in Washington, D.C. More restaurants followed, each one a testament to his talent and dedication to great food. Even as their careers took them in different directions, their relationship thrived because they supported each other every step of the way. Norah often credited her mother for giving her the best advice she had ever received: marry your best friend, and she truly felt she had. Jeff made her laugh, kept her grounded, and understood the immense demands of her job. Whether she was working late nights covering elections or traveling across the world for major news stories, he was always there, cheering her on. Through the highs and lows, the long days and stressful cycles, their marriage remained strong because they prioritized each other and their family. Life became even more exciting and challenging when they became parents. Their twins, Henry and Grace, were born first, followed by their youngest daughter, Riley. Raising 3 children while managing 2 demanding careers was no easy feat, but they made it work. They found ways to be present for their kids, despite their busy schedules, making sure family always came first. Cooking played a big role in their home, not just because Jeff was a chef, but because they both believed in the importance of healthy, homemade meals. In fact, their shared love for food led them to co-write a cookbook, Baby Love: Healthy, Delicious Meals for Your Baby and Toddler, which promoted fresh, homemade baby food over store-bought options. Norah often shared stories of how she would rush home from work, pick up fresh apples, steam them, and blend them into homemade applesauce for their kids. It was simple, nutritious, and made with love. Cooking together as a family became a tradition, a way to connect amid their busy lives. But of course, balancing it all wasn't always smooth. There were challenges, late nights, and moments of exhaustion, but they tackled them together, always. Finding ways to support each other. During the COVID-19 pandemic, life became particularly overwhelming. Norah was covering one of the biggest health crises of her career, while also managing remote school for her children. She was anchoring newscasts from home, often juggling breaking news with parenting duties. Conference calls happened while she made breakfast, and important interviews were sometimes interrupted by a child needing help with a school assignment or a printer that wouldn't work. It was chaotic, exhausting, and at times overwhelming. But Jeff stepped up in big ways, making sure their household ran smoothly while Norah focused on her work. He handled meals, helped with school, and provided the encouragement she needed during one of the most challenging periods of her career. Even as their children grew older, Norah and Jeff remained deeply involved in their lives. She shared special moments with her audience: prom nights, driving lessons, and the bittersweet experience of watching them grow up too fast. Through it all, family remained her greatest source of strength and happiness, despite the pressures of their demanding careers. Norah and Jeff always found time to celebrate their milestones. Their wedding anniversaries were filled with love and reflection, and Jeff often posted heartfelt messages online, calling himself a lucky guy to have Norah by his side. Their mutual admiration and unwavering support for each other were evident to anyone who knew them. Jeff was also there for Norah during some of the most difficult moments of her life. When she was diagnosed with melanoma, he was by her side every step of the way, ensuring she had the support and care she needed. And when she faced a sudden health scare in 2019, undergoing emergency surgery for appendicitis, he made sure she had everything necessary to recover and heal. While Norah was making history in journalism, Jeff continued to expand his restaurant, Empire. What started as a single restaurant grew into a successful business with multiple locations across the D.C. area. He built a brand known for great food and hospitality, earning a loyal following along the way. Their careers flourished in different fields, yet they always found ways to support and celebrate each other's successes. Norah's career continued to soar, earning her numerous awards and recognitions. She was named one of Washington's 100 Most Powerful Women by Washingtonian Magazine and won multiple Emmy Awards for her investigative reporting. One of her proudest achievements was her 6-month investigation into sexual assault at the U.S. Air Force Academy, which won an Emmy in 2018 and was recognized by the White House Correspondents Association. But while the accolades were meaningful, what truly mattered to her was the impact of her work. After sharing her personal battle with skin cancer, she received messages from viewers who had gone for screenings because of her story, some of whom discovered skin cancer early and were able to get life-saving treatment. Those messages meant everything to her. Beyond journalism, she became a powerful advocate for health awareness, encouraging people, especially women, to prioritize their well-being. Whether it was urging people to wear sunscreen, schedule regular checkups, or listen to their bodies, she wanted to make a difference. Norah believed in hope. Even after facing the fear of cancer, she saw hope in early detection, in modern medicine, and in the power of education and awareness. She also found hope in community, knowing that by sharing her own experience, she could help others take better care of themselves. Now, as she prepares to step away from her role as anchor of CBS Evening News, she is looking forward to new opportunities. She's excited to spend more time with her family, to take on special projects that allow for deeper, more meaningful storytelling, and to continue advocating for health awareness. She knows that life is unpredictable, that careers evolve, and that challenges will always come. But through it all, she has learned that family, health, and passion are what truly matter. Her time in the anchor chair may be ending, but her impact, both as a journalist and as a person, will last for years to come. Norah O'Donnell's legacy is not just in the stories she reported, but in the lives she touched, the awareness she raised, and the example she set for the next generation of journalists.